Hey guys, John Myers here with the Best of Really Brew, and I'm here with Michelle and Brewed Downtown, and today is Small Business Friday. So every Friday we like to go out and see one of our small businesses in the town and get to know the owners and find out what makes these small businesses special. Because I truly believe it's the small businesses in the United States, not the big businesses, that really make the biggest impact with us. And Michelle, how long have you been in business now?
7 years this January.
Wow, that's awesome. What's been some of the biggest changes you've seen since you've been in business?
You mean changes in business or just changes in the area?
Changes in the area?
Changes in the area. Well, with the addition of the bypass, the less traffic flow that we have coming through the downtown area has been our biggest challenge. It helped out with the flow going on base through the Wilson Gate, that kind of stuff. But the overall infrastructure from the bypass this way has been a little bit difficult. So we tried to market ourselves to the point where we're not the destination, but we're more like home. So we have a lot of people that stop in just for the comfort of the homey feel, not the sterileness of a big box store.
So is that like your brew crew that you guys talk about on your website?
Yeah, part of our brew crew is it's kind of twofold. So we all encourage people to bring in their coffee cups. Number one, it reduces on the waste that's out there. We have a lot of customers that just want to come in and get it in a paper cup. If you're going to sit here, that just aggravates me. I'm sorry, it does. I'm a big proponent of, recycling and reusing, composting, using recycled materials. So I try to use the paper cups rather than a plastic or something that can't be recycled, or it is compostable. So I encourage people to bring in their own cups. So whether they're sitting here or whether they're bringing their, am I allowed to say this? Yetis or, whatever their thermos things or whatever you want to call them. Bringing those in, it'll stay hot. It reduces the waste, their carbon footprint, and it also cuts the cost down. So I pass that savings on to those who care about the same things and align in the same things that we align in. We have customers that have their coffee cups that they leave here. So a lot of times, I've got a big hand for a girl. So, I like the mug, but like if you look at the one that you have, sometimes they don't always fit your hand and they're not comfortable. So if I'm busy or one of my girls are busy up there, they can come in, grab a cup of coffee, sit down. We don't have to worry about paying. They have got their cup up there. And it's just something that's a little more personal to them. It feels like home. And the fact that they can just come in, grab a cup of coffee and sit down, and they'll come and catch up with us when things settle down.
You talk about giving back and being green. There's a certification you guys have.
Right.
Is that right?
We are an NC Green certified restaurant. So we're at a number 2 level. There's a 1 level, 2 level, 3 level. So we're in the middle. And
what are some of the things, or do you have any changes coming up that you're trying to implement to try and do something? Or what's your next plan?
Well, our next plan is, we compost a lot of our stuff. So a lot of our clean compost, the lettuce that, is sometimes brown, because we chop our lettuce and things like that. So you've got the ends of the heads of the lettuce, things like that. And all of our coffee grounds go into a bucket. And then we take them out to the Onslow County Farmers Market, and we use them out there for the small business farmers that are starting up out there. Oh, by the way, I'm also the president of the Onslow County Farmers Market, so shameless plug here. But we use all of that to help with the composting. The coffee grounds we put in bags. So once I get to the point where we have more coffee than we have for the waste, we put the coffee in bags. So it's good for your potted plants, your summer gardening, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
The eggshells that we crack, things like that. So we implement that starting in the spring again, and then we kind of go forward from there.
What is some of the your most memorable moments since you started Brewed Downtown?
I think I get the biggest joy from my customers and sharing their daily lives. Everybody comes in here and thinks, this is a totally different place than what they have in town. It's homey. It's open. We have the open kitchen plan so that people feel like, if they want to share something with us and I happen to be in the kitchen, they can go, "Hey, Michelle, guess what?" And they want to be able to tell me things. So I've shared in their happiness, so their engagements, their pregnancies, sadly, their losses, and then some of the ones that, we've kind of watched some of our elders kind of get to the point where they were coming in on their own, and now their children are caring for them, and they're still able to come and enjoy a cup of coffee and enjoy the love and the fellowship that we have here.
They're mostly military, right?
I'm going to say probably 60% is military. Yeah.
Okay. Because we're back here by the Wilson Gate.
Correct.
And you and your husband Eric were military as well, right?
No, just myself.
Just yourself.
Just myself. I was
Okay.
Air Force.
You were in the Air Force?
Air Force.
Okay.
Went in, I got a government appointment from high school, and just kind of continued my career until, you know, life, babies, things like that, you know, kind of prevents you from keeping and going on. We just decided to move down here I missed the military community. I grew up not as a military brat, but my mother was a civil servant for a Navy chaplain.
Oh, okay.
And so he was Catholic and mom was Catholic. So we, his special thing is that he got to take his secretary, because I guess there's so much different than having somebody who was military staff being able to do everything they have to do for the Catholic Church.
Oh,
So
okay.
whenever he changed duty stations, we changed duty stations. So I kind of grew up around that military life and saw just how much the military impacts the community in some of these small towns. That with Jacksonville, and I was looking at the growth that it has had over the years, you know, we've seen the changes in the last 15 years, you know, and how much the town itself has changed, and how little more progressive they've become from a farm community to a big little small city. So we enjoyed that, and we decided to try to take the opportunity to get away from the corporate world, which is where my husband and I ended up before we bought this, was in the corporate restaurant world, where we were just somebody who worked there. You know, we didn't have a vested interest in it. And even though we cared about our jobs and we worked hard, we didn't have the people that we worked around didn't have the same respect for what they were doing. And it wasn't always recognized. Not that we needed the attaboys or the pats on the back or anything like that. It was just the accolades. When you're making a ton of money for somebody else, the opportunity fell into our lap with this, and we decided to go ahead and run with it. And, you know, Eric's had restaurant management for over 35 years. Mine was marketing and kind of a mishmash of everything. So it's kind of the front man and the back man kind of composite that we have here that kind of helped establish and get us to the point where we are right now.
Now, as a veteran, is there any veteran programs that you have used to help with starting and running your business?
Yes, absolutely. I'm female, I'm a veteran, and I'm handicapped. So I was able to qualify for a bunch of small business grants just based on those 3 criteria. You know, there's a ton of grants and things like that. You just have to look for it.
Is there any place in particular that helped you more find some of these grant programs than others?
Actually, I used the community college over at the Coastal Carolina Community College, the adult education side of it.
Okay.
Went in there and actually spoke to them, and they kind of pointed me in the right direction. And then it was just kind of, I took a class down in Wilmington with a woman who does government grants, and that's what she does. She approves the grants when you're applying for a government entity.
Okay.
So she was doing a little class, and it was like a $10 class. So I went and sat, kind of an all day 10-hour thing that they had, and actually got a lot of good information, a lot of good feedback. And the biggest thing that I took away from that was that she said, you know, research what it is that you want, find those grants out there, then find the people who were awarded those grants, which are also on the websites for these grants, you know, talk to these people, or, you know, listen to these testimonials. And I actually reached out to several of the people who were already awarded grants and say, hey, what did you use? What did you say? And most of them were forthcoming and were able to give me enough information that I got enough to get it so that I had a clean slate. They weren't like, you know, I'm not talking thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, we're talking a small amount of money compared to some of the money that's out there, but I didn't fall into that criteria.
Okay. I know Jacksonville has a downtown revitalization program that they're working or doing right now. Is that helping, or is that going to impact you at all?
I'm hoping it's going to impact us. You know, we've been working on that for years. As long as I have been in the community, I've always been involved with the downtown area. Growing up in Southern California, you know, downtowns were always these big megatropolis things. They're getting ready to roll out like New Bern has the bears where they're painted and they're out in front of businesses, things like that. So Jacksonville's getting ready to roll out the bulldog. So you can purchase the bulldog and have it, painted by a local artist. So it's involving, more places and then it'll be another self-guided tour that we have that, Jacksonville will have. Jacksonville has worked really hard to get to the memorials, which are right just on the back side of my property here. So that has helped with like the tourism side of things coming in. We've made sure that, we're growing, but that takes money, it takes time. Sadly, we've had a couple of devastating earthly events that, kind of put everything in the back pocket. So the money I think that the city had for funding, I think they used that to try to help us, us meaning the citizens of the area, not just business, but the citizens of the area. It helped us to, get things cleaned up. So I think they spent more on cleanup, things like that. So I think some of those projects right now, they're waiting for additional funding. They do have some things that are getting ready to happen in the downtown area. Sadly, the bad part is that some of the businesses that we're trying to hang on are struggling.
Right. With the struggle that's been going on, what are some things that have helped you continue going while others continue to struggle?
Again, I'm going to go back to my customers. We had a lot of customers that literally came out of the woodwork. We were here, we stayed, and then the impact from everybody else around. I was getting text messages from people saying, "Hey, we had to leave the area. Can you go check on this? Can you go check on that?" So when they came back, it was like, "Hey, what can we do to help you get back up and running?" Because we'd taken a pretty big financial hit. What can we do? What can we do? Well, here's $200. Will that help? Here's $500. Will that help? Just trying to help us because we had just taken a food order not too long before that. So I had lost all of my food. We had gone for so long without electric, and we had such water damage in here that the longer it took to start the cleanup process, the worse things became.
Because you cared,
right? Your
customers really cared about you and helped you
right.
get through all those hard times.
Yes, that's how I feel. Just the love and the outpour from everybody, and it has restored my faith in humanity. Just to see, I know you were sitting here while you were waiting for me, and how many people did I hug? So sometimes I think it's just for that. I'm kind of the mom that, I'm kind of a mother figure to a lot in the community here. And so sometimes they want to share those good things, and sometimes not so good things. But for the most part, it's the love that I have for my customers and the love that they have for us.
Well, Michelle, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here. And if you guys want to come down, it's right over by the Wilson Gate. Sit outside, sit inside, go through the drive-through. But take your time and come in and meet Michelle and Eric and the rest of the crew here, and become part of the Brew crew here. Bring your cup and have a coffee or have some food and enjoy the time. All right, guys. John Myers here with Michelle down at Brewed Downtown and the Best of Really Group, Cole Banker Seacoast Advantage. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.